Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking the video out today. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and discuss today. We have a small update on Deviation Games. We have an update on the potential Sony Square Enix acquisition and a few other things as well. So before we dive into these topics, do me a big favor. If you do end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like. It really helps the videos out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and consider becoming a channel member by hitting that join button and gaining access to some exclusive perks. But we are diving into the first topic here, which is, again, a small update on Deviation Games. It says here, reading from Push Square, that PlayStation Studios bigwig Herman Holst paid a visit to partner Deviation Games this week for an update on its super secret PS5 project, and it looks like mocap is already well underway. According to his Instagram page, actor David Palladino, who starred in a number of popular US shows like NCIS and CIS Vegas, have been in a mocap studio since late April, capturing performances for the developer. As spotted by Zubitech, he tagged the studio into a photo of himself on set. Deviation Games is comprised of ex-Treyarch top brass, and Palladino has done voice work for various Call of Duty games over the year, so the relationship makes sense. The studio confirmed that its game would go into full production this year, and it even expanded with a Canadian office as it continues to staff up. It's safe to assume that it's working on some kind of first-person shooter, although co-founder Jason Blundell has talked a lot about pushing the medium forward. And so, yeah, this is the update we're getting on Deviation Games. I think something that is worth noting here is that what we are seeing in this photo is stuff that was happening back in April. So you have to assume they've made pretty solid progress since then. That's a lot of time when it comes to game development. So, you know, it's hard to say if we're going to be hearing about Deviation Games' PS5 project this year. I want to remain hopeful that we will get our first look at it. I think most PlayStation fans are anticipating that Sony is going to be doing some type of first-party showcase this year, and even though Deviation Games isn't a first-party studio, they've really kind of made a big deal out of this project, and there is no doubt a lot of talent involved in this project, and it's clear that this studio was given a lot of funding by Sony, given that they've already opened a second studio in Canada, which is pretty significant. So, yeah, I have to say that I'm definitely interested in learning more about this game and kind of seeing what these former Call of Duty developers are able to come up with. So let me know if you're excited to learn more about Deviation Games' PS5 project. We are moving on to the next topic, which once again talks about the potential Sony Square Enix acquisition and how it's beginning to look even more likely at this point. So this is reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, and they say the chances for a Square Enix acquisition are rising, and Sony looks to be on the shortlist as a potential buyer. On a conference call, the developer revealed that it's looking to sell stakes in its studios, with David Gibson, a senior analyst at MST Financial, expecting that companies like Sony, Tencent, and Nexon are interested in a purchase. As suggested by Gibson in a tweet, Square Enix's restructuring and diversification of studio capital is a way for the company to look more appealing to buyers. Earlier in the thread, he notes that the sale of Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal was driven by concerns that the titles cannibalized sales of the rest of the group, at least in the words of Square Enix. To put this into context, Eidos Montreal's founder, in a recent interview in late July, said that he heard rumors that Sony said they're really interested in Square Enix Tokyo, but not the rest. This would explain why his studio, along with Square Enix Montreal and Crystal Dynamics, were sold off with what was described as a garage sale. This falls in line with earlier rumors from various insiders that apparently Sony is interested in Square Enix. So the article continues by saying the existing relationship between Square Enix and Sony not only makes the acquisition more believable, but also more likely when compared to Nexon and Tencent. The Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy is still holding as a PlayStation console exclusive, and Forspoken will be a timed exclusive deal that could last up to 2 years. Final Fantasy XVI, which is set to release in 2023, is also a PS5 exclusive. Acquiring Square Enix could considerably bolster the PlayStation Plus catalog at all tiers as well. And so, yeah, here we are. We have more evidence that seems to point to the possibility of Sony being interested in acquiring Square Enix. Now, let's look at a couple of facts here. The first is that, yes, Sony already has a very good partnership with Square Enix. And so, of the companies listed that would be interested, you have to imagine Sony automatically is maybe at number one, right? Because of how well things are already going between them and Square. On top of that, we also have to acknowledge that Jim Ryan has claimed multiple times and reiterated multiple times that they are not done with acquisitions. Now, he didn't necessarily hint at how big these acquisitions would be. I don't think it would be a smart thing for him to do that, because when it comes to these acquisitions, they're always being negotiated, right? And while these things don't necessarily happen overnight, something that we should pay attention to when it comes to acquisitions, no matter how big or how large, is they can happen pretty quickly, right? Once the ball gets rolling, it can happen very, very fast. And maybe that's what's going on with Square Enix and Sony. But what we do know for sure here, again, is that Square Enix is clearly trying to position themselves to look appealing to others. And that, I think, I mean, look, I don't want to jump to conclusions, and I don't think anybody would be wise to do that, to say that Sony's going to acquire them, but you can't deny that it's, you can't help but look at it and think, well, I mean, if Sony is ever interested in purchasing a publisher, that makes sense for them. That shouldn't be too difficult considering they already have an established relationship. And Square Enix is kind of putting themselves in this position. It's hard not to speculate that that is going to maybe be a real possibility. Now, I know that not everybody is for acquisitions and not everybody thinks this is a good thing. And to be honest, the consolidation of the gaming industry isn't a good thing, but unfortunately, it's just the reality of it. It's going to continue to happen regardless of how we feel about it. And so, when you consider how, how these things may shake out, I honestly think that a lot of people, if Sony were to acquire Square Enix, wouldn't be completely shocked, right? So we'll see what happens. I will be sure to update you guys, but yeah, let me know what you think about this update. We're moving on to the next topic, where I just want to briefly let everybody know that the Uncharted movie has officially made its debut on Netflix. So, if you're somebody who's remotely interested in this, but you didn't feel like going to the movie theater and you didn't buy it on Blu-ray or anything like that, you can watch it now on Netflix. A couple things that are worth noting here is, as of right now, it's just for Netflix users in the US. As of right now, there's no word on a UK version for Netflix, but I also want to let you know that originally it was supposed to come out on July 15th, but it got postponed by a little bit. So now it's officially available. And, it was a big success for Sony, making over $400 million at the box office. Definitely going to be interested to see what they do with the second one and with other upcoming live adaptations of PlayStation games. Next up, we have a small update on Hogwarts Legacy. Reading from Push Square, they say, today we got a brief cinematic snippet and some screenshots showing off character creation, which looks suitably in-depth and expansive. The cinematic cutscene was shown off during an online tech event. Software company Autodesk was hosting the Autodesk Vision series, and one of the presentations showed how Hogwarts Legacy's cinematics were realized. In addition, the company demonstrated some of the tools used in the character creation process and gave us a small but tantalizing look at the in-game character creation screen, with Reddit user Andrew Games1 grabbing some screenshots. While Hogwarts Legacy does not have a firm release date, just a holiday 2022 release window, December 6th has been floated as a possible release date because of a tie-in book we reported on previously, which we did cover here on the channel as well. So I figured I would just give you guys this little update because I know that a lot of you are looking forward to this game, and they've been pretty quiet when it comes to a release date, so it's understandable why a lot of people are really not sure if they can expect it this year at this point. But still, considering they are showing new stuff like this, smaller stuff like this, it should give you some hope that they are planning to still release it before the end of the year. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Be sure to leave it a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.